Hello, Scott Possley with Imperfection Wellness, and we are back today with a little microlearning, and it's going to be pretty simple because we're going to talk about the rule of fives. And I learned this from a teacher years ago, many, many years ago, and it didn't really resonate at the time. But I always say to people, feel your feelings. I was talking to a friend recently, and she's like, oh, I was having a bad day, and I had some, tears, I was crying. And she's like, but then I just said, I'm done, and I pushed it down. And I said, okay, you do you. But when you say you pushed it down, what does that mean? And she's like, I didn't want to deal with it. And I get concerned because I used to be someone who pushed feelings down. I pushed them down all the time. And when we get used to that, we realize we don't feel things. Now sometimes the opposite happens. And I feel things fully, but there's also, because that pressure has built up over time, I feel it. And sometimes a lot more comes up. And so what we want to start doing is, as we realize we're having these feelings, allow ourselves to. There's a lot of research out there, and something I recently heard, I don't have the reference for it, but I can resonate with it, is that when we allow ourselves to feel how we feel fully, without holding back, without questioning, letting it out, generally 2 to 3 minutes, that feeling is going to pass. And one of the concepts of Possley's paradigm that I teach is a concept called lean in and let go. When something comes up, we sit, we ground ourselves, and we lean into it. And it can feel overwhelming. And instead of pushing it back down, what if we allowed ourselves to feel? And that's tough. We've been taught not to. And when these feelings come up and when we lean in and we, breathe through them and then they're released, it feels better. We're no longer carrying emotional weight. And one concept I love is a reminder from my friend who was a teacher, calling it the rule of fives. I've talked about this before, and that is, how am I going to feel about this in 5 hours? How am I going to feel about this in 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 months, 5 years? Okay, I'm going to feel differently if I give it time. So instead of pushing it down, what if I let it out? And you might be in a meeting with your boss, you might be at work, you might be in a place where it's hard to do that. Can you step away to the restroom? Can you go to your car? Can you find a private area and take some slow, deep breaths and feel what you're feeling? Knowing that feelings come and go. This too shall pass. So the next time you have a feeling and you want to push it down, allow yourself to feel it. Remember the rule of fives. Firmly put your feet on the ground. If you need to, put your hand on your heart and your other hand on your belly. Take a big deep breath in and feel your belly expand, and breathe out and lean into that feeling. When we stop suppressing and repressing our feelings and start feeling them, we realize that we're building a lighthouse. We are becoming the lighthouse. We can weather the storm. And if we continue pushing things down, we're storing them for later use. If you visit imperfectionwellness.com, I have a lot of free resources, and under the free resources tab, you'll see a wellness starter kit. And in that wellness starter kit, it has a breathing guide. Download that breathing guide, look at my other videos, watch, learn. Let's start coming into our feelings, feeling things fully, knowing this too shall pass, this feeling. And let me know in the comments how this resonates with you. Feels awkward maybe at first? Try it a couple times and see what happens. And know those first few times might be a little overwhelming, because if you haven't felt stuff in a long time, a floodgate might open. But know that once that floodgate is let open and a lot of that debris washes through, we start living life more authentically. And that's what I'm teaching at Imperfection Wellness. How can you live your life more authentically, more grounded in self, grounded in present moment, identified as true self, capital T, capital S. That's what this journey is about. And as always, wishing you the best on your wellness journey. Thanks so much for watching.